also means that his affairs and his skills and his qualities, that's like when he going to work, he's working near the CEO like Daniel. Daniel was the second, he was above the magician, so he was second in command, just like Joseph. They will stand before kings. Kings gonna call upon them. Hey man, what do we need done? And speaking of that, it's funny, we talked about Daniel last week and him being above the magicians. Do you know just a few, I saw a movie just a few, maybe it was last year. I don't know, some of y'all may have seen it. It was about during World War II. A band, I want to say maybe Valkyrie, or maybe that was the name of the movie. But anyway, it was about a band of Americans that was out to destroy Hitler and beat Hitler and all them. They was running around Europe, bombing Hitler and beating his stuff. But it was one scene in the movie when they started to catch him. Guess how they started to catch this band? Hitler had one of his servants or one of his lieutenants that was in power. Guess what his skill was? He was a ventriloquist. And he told one of the men who he thought was out to beat and try to beat them and destroy them. He said, the Führer's on the phone, he wants to speak to you. And when the guy put the phone, the ventriloquist went across the room and he was able to project his voice, and the guy was on the phone saying, yeah, and that's right then and there, he knew that they was, so this is in the movie. So up until 1940s, these kings, these presidents, and these leaders, they still had what you would call magicians within their ranks. So for him to be able to, a ventriloquist was among Hitler's ranks. And that's how they caught those guys. And that was based on a true story. So how much more so do your presidents today have magicians that can come and make you think see something in there when it's actually over here? These are skills that they get paid for today, going around doing it in Vegas and New York and wherever else. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention that just up until 50 years ago, these kings still used magicians in their ranks. And they was able to get those guys who was defeating Hitler back in World War II. So, all right, comments? I don't think I want to start dealing with the actual Proverbs 18 because it's a lot that we want to do. I want to go down two paths with that one. And so I'll save that for next week, which I'll be up first next week. So might be first or second. All right, so relationships, safe sex, marriage, all my sisters in the sound of my voice, pray to Yahweh for some strength. And when you see a brother that you're interested in, do a good diligent search. And just drop a couple seeds, maybe get a phone number and just, I'm not gonna tell you to be it, but do a little bit more than waiting on Miss Ann, acting like Miss Ann and wait for somebody to come and ask you out. Because, yeah, your knight in shining armor may have been beat down so bad by the enemy and his jobs that he don't know how to talk to women. He doesn't know how to. He's sitting up there waiting. That's why you go to the club, you see a bunch of guys sitting on the wall with their drinks, cheese, with all the stuff click-clacking and click-clicking and drinking, and it's the cheese because they waiting for somebody to come. They actually think, and when the girl come by, they don't know what to say. They don't know. That's what part of this prudent, what was it at? Search, think out, to man's conceal. One of these means to be, to what, diligent. One of these definitions I was looking for meant to be, oh, here it is, to mask, to conceal, to hide, to disguise. So sometimes that's what you're doing. You know, you're not being fake, but what you're doing is they may perceive you and want you to be, how can I say this? Stand on it. So most guys don't know how to talk to women. They want to talk to, but they don't know how to. So they'll use little cliches. They'll use stuff out of records. Yeah, they'll pick up lines because they don't know how to fluently talk to you. And in order to fluently know how to talk to you, they have to have some level of discretion and they have to have some level of prudence and diligence. This is one of these words I had that had the words that fall in place. But what it is it's that you're being, I'm losing my thought. See, there's a word that kind of describes how you are, what you're doing when you're talking to a man. You're not being overbearing. You're not being pushy. But you're getting what you want, and you're being nice about it. There's a particular word, I'll find it. If I can find it, I'll lay that out. But I just say that to say I just want some of my sisters to make sure that you control your destiny, and you can do that. Pray to the Almighty and get your strength. Pray to the Almighty and get your strength. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I just wanted to praise y'all. I want to make a comment to the sisters and the brothers. The one thing you can do is to get yourself together if you want somebody else to want you. get yourself together, get your whatever education, your plan, your job, and just know what you want in your life. And he said something earlier about when you talk to a guy saying something like, yeah, I'm gonna meet you in Bible class this week. You know, you have to let people know like where you stand. And yeah, right up front, let people know like what that you're not just the average old chicken head out there, because and we as men as well, we have to let women know like I'm not just Joe down the street. You got to let them know that it is something different. It is something peculiar about us, and that's where it comes to how we carry ourselves, the conversation you even strike up, and the place that you meet them at. So and the type of conversation you induce when you're dealing with them. But the best thing that I can say is always just try to get yourself together first, because that's when generally somebody wants somebody who got their self together. You know what I mean? People don't want that one show called Baggage. Generally, people want to eliminate as much baggage as possible. They want somebody that they can grow with, because generally when you at a certain age, you got enough baggage you come in with anyway. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got my baggage and I got to have yours too, So not to say that couldn't work out, but the bottom line is what I'm saying is in relationships and in anything you do, try to get yourself together, get your mind together, get your spiritual part together. And that's why we, want to reiterate to people is that we try to have, as we talk about different things in class, we try to talk about things that's going to enrich people. That when you leave, when you leave out the door, that you're a better person, you're a more knowledgeable person, and you're able to handle challenges that you probably wasn't able to handle before. Handle them a little better. You have a sounder mind. You're a stronger person. That's another thing about diligence. It makes you strong. And obeying Yah, it makes you strong. When you disobey Yah, it just makes you weak. It makes you vulnerable. Oh yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? And makes you loose and whatever. And whatever. You know what I'm saying? Versus being that strong person. So, and have confidence in yourself. And know that the Almighty loves you. Know that you are a daughter and a son of the mighty Yah. And that the Almighty have expectations, of you. You know what I mean? And those expectations are not to be compromised by anybody. Don't let anybody compromise on us. Praise Yah.
And don't settle.
And the key to not settling, sisters, and we say this for our brothers, like I said, we don't expect many of the brothers to have problems. If you got problems, like Moreh said, you ain't got yourself together. That's point blank. You as a man that's serving the Yah, first thing you do is to be productive, so you're going to show the woman that you working. You got some works about you. So that's that, and that's the beginning to, that's usually what it takes for most men. That's the biggest step. So just a few more things Moreh was saying about being prudent. One thing about the prudent is that the prudent is crowned with knowledge. It says that the prudent look well to his going. And most of all, the prudent regard reproofs. This is what we're doing today. Today is a day of reproofs. And if you're out there having sex now, it's going to be a hard stop. I know it is. I remember when I was young and dumb, I sat in this room waiting to get out of here to be leisure, have a class right on your girlfriend and marriage, and I'm hoping we ain't gonna go there because I know like I say, the heart knows what pleasures is gonna come in dealing with this woman. And how dare him talking about her and meddling with the pleasures of my heart. That's what this proverb said. That's what that proverb said, that don't intermeddle that's what it means. So he was doing that when he was talking about getting married. So me sitting out of that audience for years when I had a little girlfriend before I got married, it was okay. And I would tell myself, she ain't no virgin. I would have to tell myself stupid stuff, dumb stuff, to get beyond the shame and the guilt. You gotta tell yourself dumb stuff. But once you get married, you know what happens? That stuff sounds even dumber after you get married. You're like, man. And what you pray for is, guess what you pray for after you get married? If I ever become single again, I pray that I don't have the ability to lean on those statements anymore. Because that's what happens. Your test will come if you marry. And y'all, man, that sounds dumb. But get single again. And then have your immediate joys taken away. Then the test comes. Will you have to come up with some other invention to get with a woman? Or are you going to hold fast and find you a wife? See, and so a lot of us, like I said, we A lot of men who've had their self-esteem beat down. That's why I'm saying a lot of sisters who I never expected to get married would get married, because that low-hanging fruit, a lot of them, she's aggressive, she gonna get her husband. Because the way she coming and talking, every time we go around, she always up in your face. Next thing you know, she's always with somebody, that woman going, and next thing you know, you find out they're married. Yeah, I got married, I done got married. Hey, you scared somebody? I was scared. Hey, that brother, I got away. He didn't know how to get away. You know, I mean, and when I say scared, it's just that when you're a young man and you want to run the field or you want to run like a fool, you find reasons not to look at a woman in the way that you should look at her. So therefore, individuals start what we want over the date. They start using reasons and justifications not to be diligent. One other one, so the regard and reproofs, and that's all I wanted to say, the prudent regard. So what we did today, all we did today was share the knowledge of how we can A, practice safe sex as Israelites, B, make sure that we put ourselves in a position to get married. Don't go out here hoping, but you go out with your girls, y'all can strengthen each other. Don't be like them other sisters I seen on that show talking about, girl, we part of the 43 percentile. Yeah, we ain't gonna go marry. Most men are in jail, locked up, or gay. So therefore, I might as well go get me a white guy. Don't y'all start doing that to each other. What y'all start doing is y'all strengthen each other. You see that brother over there? Like, we'll see what he about. Go ahead, let me get your mics, your sisters' hands going up, strengthen your sisters. Yeah, don't use those phrases. You strengthen your sisters. Hey, that brother over there, like, hey.
I'm glad you said that, because if we're going to go with that piece of wisdom to love thy brother as thyself or thy sister, we should say, hey, you know, he may not be for me, but he might very well be suitable for her or her. Because we should all have that desire to want to see our sister or our brother at peace, happy. So I know right now I have sisters that be like, well, when you go out of town, find me a husband.
Yes.
I am sure looking.
Yes, and do that. There's no shame with that. There's no shame. There, as a brother as well, if I got brothers that I think need a wife, I'm gonna try to, because I know that there's no, see, for us, that's a bad mentality. I ain't gonna talk to that man. I want nobody know I'm looking for no man. What you talking about? You a daughter of Zion. You better go holler at that boy. You gonna give him strength whether you know it or not. You gonna flip his lid whether you know it or not. See, because you gonna tell him, like, wait a minute, baby, let me show you about this creator. Who you saw your enemy guy? A black sister talking about enemy? Hold on now. So who's the enemy? Well, slave master enemy, brother. You didn't know that? Well, let me explain something to you. Oh, okay. You would strengthen that man. And sometimes it becomes too heavy. You got to recognize that sometimes it becomes too heavy, because a weak man like being weak because he don't have to have no responsibility. Weak man don't want any accountability or responsibility. Okay? And there's a lot of them out there like that. So definitely, as Kadasha said, if any of you brothers know a brother that's single, any of you sisters know a sister that's single, first off, sisters, holler at your sister. Sister, holler at your brothers. You got a brother, you got a friend, you got a body. Hey, yeah, what you doing? What you do for a living? Cool. How many kids you got? Okay, cool. I might have somebody I think and when you talk about it, when I talk to my brother, first thing I'm gonna let my brother, there ain't no sleeping with the sister. When you meet her, you know, I need you to be, because I'm trying to you on tour, and I need you to, you know, to be honorable and be respectful. But you might not like her, you might have done, may not pop. But don't try none of that slick stuff to, you know, because she's gonna be humble, because she's a woman, and you and I both know she's gonna be humble. So don't even try it. But if you do try, then we're gonna have to talk again, because now I'm gonna have to put you on Front Street or something else, because I asked you to do something that you didn't do to our sisters or our daughters that you chose to. So this is how we have to be, and we have to, for our sisters like that, I don't want to see nobody without their mate. That's no, that's not the order of Yah. Our sisters are not supposed to be out here like that, nor our brothers. We are our brother's keeper. I want my sisters married. I want my brothers married. And that's just how it got to go down. Why? Because even if you don't make it, you're fulfilling that joy with Yah. And hopefully, if you I'll take that back. I ain't gonna say that if you don't make it, because that means that it's something has been rushed and skipped over. So let me back that all the way up. Let me just say that I'm gonna try to do my part with brothers I know, and And I'm gonna try to make sure that if I know some sisters that's looking for a man, that I have the ability to make that connection. And I'm gonna try to do that. Because we have needs and we have feelings and we have emotions just like everybody else. And a lot of us will creep as Israelites because those needs we don't know how to shut down those emotions or those feelings. So like Dan said, the best thing you do when they find two young people that's hot, young people back in the day, they get them married. She don't know what a boy feels like and he don't know what a girl feels like, but they're gonna end up touching each other soon enough, get them married. So when they start touching each other, that greatest feeling he ain't gonna be thinking about nobody in that field all day long. Think about my baby. Think about my baby. Man. But let him have this girl, that girl, this girl, that girl, that girl. He's thinking about, man, I got one like that. I got one like that too. I got one just like her over there. He ain't got no joy. He ain't got no pleasures. He's not what you call, what's the word? When you got too much of something that you can't even, you don't even have no value for it. Whatever that's what a lot of brothers do. They don't understand the value of the precious gift performed because they got there. It's too much. I'm just seeing women. Every time I go in, every woman that has favorite tool, all I do is wink and I'm getting the phone on. All I do is got somebody, hey, put your phone up there. And she don't look up and down. And that's all you got to do. So this is how it is for some of us out there today. So those type of men, it's very, very, very difficult to bring them in and sit down and say, brother, you need to sit down before you even touch that woman. Find out about her. Find out about her family. Find out about if they got any family diseases. Like Dan said, if somebody getting, diabetes, find out if they got diseases in their family. Because you're going to be, if you really going to want to have something with her, we get the mic to Noah, please. I'm sorry, Michael. If you get the mic to her, not the mic, but if you get to know her, you'll find out what she's about. Ryan, were you at? Okay, praise y'all.
I praise y'all for your lesson because what you're talking about is basically what I was going through this week. Where, brother, yeah, you fine, you got a nice job or whatever, but you saying the Bible ain't real and stuff. Well, brother, what about the Bible ain't real? You know what I'm saying? Like, now we got to get to the meat of it, which is Yahweh. That's my core. So if you can't follow that, ain't nothing really we can do. Like, I mean, I still talk to you because I still try to get the word of Yah to you. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to leave.
Yeah.
You're going to see me with my fringes on. That's not going to leave. I can laugh with you, whatever. But that's not going to leave. And being a single Hebrew Israelite woman is totally different being in the knowledge and being single.
That's right.
Versus being single and being in the world. Because
that's
when I was in the world and single, I'm like, cool, I'm single.
That's it.
But when you single in the knowledge, it's something totally different.
And that's why we have to make it easy. We have to help make it easier for y'all. I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, as a brother that's been there, I done seen it. I done seen my sisters. I done seen the foolish brothers. I done ran with foolish brothers. And we still have a lot of that Babylonian way in us. And that's why this whole thing about safe sex is really about the relationship. This whole class we talked about today is about the relationship. You will not slip into an unlawful sexual relationship if you and that woman are already on the same page about, look, we're going to get this and we're going to get that. And the moment you start seeing her breaking and fracking and playing, or the moment you start seeing him trying to get away and not trying to keep them commitments, then you understand? So, and I'm going to let you know, men respect that. I'm going to tell you, they respect that. Well, look, brother, you know, I'm a calling, you ain't, you know, something. Yes, sir, brother Dan.
I know back in my days when you got married, you had to take a blood test.
Yeah, and you know what? I meant to bring that up. So she says that they don't do that anymore.
Who don't do that no more?
The government.
Can you prove it?
That what we got when I got married.
They used to do it. Can't prove to me that they don't do it no more.
Oh, well, when we got
Don't just run off at the mouth, prove it.
I got married, Dad, they didn't make me do it.
Well, yeah, that's important what I brought up about sex. That's the purpose of having safe sex. You don't match.
Ah,
You
okay.
don't match that with your purity, that with your husband.
So yeah, so you're talking about, okay, so Dan is talking.
If they found something wrong with your urine, you didn't get no blood test, no marriage license. That's the purpose of having taken.
Can we get Dan's mic turned up, please? Because he's talking about something very important.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Go ahead, Dan. Say that again.
Now, who want to lay down with something that'll lay down with anything?
Yeah.
than the other women, a lot of other women. You don't want to mess somebody that's a slut and lamb with every dog in the neighborhood.
Egypt, once we dwell in the land and we dwell safely and keep his laws.
That's right.
So that's one of those, and that's deep, because I totally forgot about that, and I meant to bring that up, was that we don't have, they just make you get blood tests. And I'll tell you what about a blood test. You talk about AIDS, knowing somebody don't have AIDS. That's why you should get a blood test today. See, the day we get married today, they don't make you go get no blood test. But you should. And the reason you should, because you don't know, like I said, if this woman ain't no virgin, who has she been with?
That's right.
What diseases is laying dormant in her?
Now, what
Or him?
What would be the report? Let's say, for instance, you're the woman went down to take a blood test. What do you think the end result would be? Let's say you went down and got a report.
Yeah.
What was the results of our blood test? What if the doctor tell you, well, do you know that your partner has this?
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't you want to have that information?
You would want to have, yes. I know, but he's asking specific questions.
HIV is incurable.
Hold on.
Not curable.
That's right. So what Dan is saying is that one of the reasons you would want to get a blood test, not the main reason, but one of the reasons is you will want to know if your spouse was unclean or harboring a disease, male or female. But as she was saying, as the elders were pulling out earlier, that the main reason that they had tests before was for blood types. They wanted to see if you matched blood types. And they were saying that sickle cell was involved with that and a lot of other things. So I didn't know that those other reasons, but that's what our elders, hold on, our elders, I'm gonna let them explain a little bit more. Hold on.
Right, the blood test that you had to have before you got a marriage license, it didn't talk about sexual diseases and stuff. It was around whether or not you should be matched with that person. Like if you had sickle cell trait, and the person that you're marrying trying to marry has a sickle cell trait, they will let you know that you shouldn't be married because you'll produce a child that would have sickle cell disease. It was those kind of things, the types of your blood types and stuff. It didn't have anything to do with sexual stuff. And right now, if you go get a blood test, or your spouse, your to-be spouse, go get a blood test, they're not going to tell you if they have a disease or not. HIPAA stopped all of that.
I wouldn't take that word for quarter, because anything that the Gentile, our adversary, gives us, it's not for us. We can't look for anything good to come out of for our benefit. I want to know, is this a good, strong, and healthy woman?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. And I think
Maybe you know if she got some type of disease.
Yeah.
Right now, I want to marry somebody later on. I found out they got a disease.
And I think what Dan is saying, you're right, Dan. I think that's just using wisdom. Yeah. You want to know that what Dan is saying is that as you go to get married, outside of finding out whether you have these other trait conditions, right, outside of sickle cells or other, blood conditions, right, you also want to go get a test. This is only the smart thing now with the stuff in the world today. You also want to let's go get an STD test.
That's right. Let's
go get an STD test and see if we all got anything. All right? Because listen, in this world today, that the diseases of Egypt, the Almighty said the diseases that are written in this book and the ones that are, the diseases that we know about and the ones that were not written in this book. Right. So that's a lot of diseases, man. So that means that we're living in what you call an unclean society. Dis-ease is when your body is out of ease or out of whack because of some infection, some infection, some inflammation, or some issue with digestion or something. But there's major causes. But this is when your body is out of whack, and that's when disease can come in and start to infiltrate. So like to Dan's point, yes, you want to know if I potentially am sickle cell trait, because that was something they experimented on our people with way back when. And then also, am I potentially marrying someone that has AIDS, HIV? But this society, because we trust in each other and because we look at TV and we see how it's traditionally done in this society, we bypass all that. We just go get the license and we go straight to the courthouse or go straight to the whatever, and then we do the do. And because Yah cures all our diseases, that right there may be fine. Because if you gonna have it, Yah gonna let you have it. But if Yah don't want you to have it, who's gonna cure your disease? So for us, that's how we deal with that here. So if you don't, and you walk into a state of righteousness, and you bring yourself into the vibration, because we teach in this class that your cures and everything come from Yah. When we raise our righteousness up, you vibrate at a different level. And it's hard for disease to get into you and settle and get dormant. That's what they say, when you get sad, you depressed, your body, your vibration rate lowers to where disease can be able to get in and permeate. And that's why people get depressed and people cry. You know lung cancer comes from people crying? Did y'all know that? You can develop lung cancer over grief. Yes. If she's listening, she'll give y'all that information. You will develop lung cancer from grief. That's crying all the time. See, and a lot of other diseases as well. So for us, that's why oil of joy that we have, being happy all the time. David said, restore your joy unto me, O Yah. That was the state we supposed to be in. And you ain't feeling good. You ain't doing good if you ain't feeling good. That's right. And if you got disease running all through your body, you cough, change your underwear every 3 days, hiding when you go in the bathroom, crying in the stalls with people. Bruh, you out of whack. You gotta stop something you doing and get yourself back into order. Because for you was among our people, you was on the outs. And you had to get that stuff together. If not, you was gonna stay on the outs. See, we serve Yah, and he said, just like the priest, wasn't nobody come up crook back, wasn't nobody gonna come up with scurvy, nobody making no excuse why they can't do and fulfill the service of the priesthood. So you ain't gonna have nobody coming up there with no shortcomings. So just like in the land serving the people, if you can't and you sick and you diseased, you're gonna be out. We don't want you infecting nobody else, nor do we want you justifying why you ain't do what it is you were supposed to have done. Praise Yah, yes.
Yes, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
There's just some things you can do, regardless. I mean, like myself, okay? Finally started back to the doctors and had a complete physical, you know, and had, get blood work and all that. So you can do that now and know. And if you come across someone, you have your paperwork. If that's what they want to know, if you've been tested, you got HIV.
And you sell that in your conversation.
I got all my blood work, here it is.
Yeah.
Work right there, bam. Where's yours?
Yeah, that's what you do. You sell that part of your conversation. Well, look, I'm not you, baby. Look, I live a clean life. I go get myself checked up. I just went to the doctor last week. I don't have no diseases. I don't deal with none of that creepy stuff. I try to eat good. I try to work out. So therefore, I'm just trying to make sure that the life the Almighty gave us, I live it to the max so I can see as many days as I could possibly get. So if you do take me out early, hey, man, I did the best I could do, and I'm going to sleep. Hopefully I can sleep and rest in peace with my fathers like all my other fathers. But I'm gonna try to get as many days as I can. That's why I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna try to be nice and polite. I'm gonna avoid contentions. I'm gonna try to keep my lips from entering into strife. That's what I've been practicing the past couple weeks, and it's been working, praise Yah. And there's many other things I'm gonna do so that I can expand my longevity. But that's what it takes. It just takes practice. But you wanna be able to sell it. Like Michael said, like he said, some things we sell. You sell your righteousness. When I say sell it, I mean, you use it as like a player we use his ability to look good and drive a car, have women or whatever. You use your righteousness when you have this conversation, not bragging, but just explaining. Like, well, nah, we shouldn't do good. Matter of fact, I had to go get a checkup last week, and praise the Almighty, I came back with a clean bill of health. Now, you using some discretion. You hide and you mask the fact that you're selling some goodness about yourself, but you let them know good and well that I'm a clean vessel, I'm trying to do good and live good, and I care about myself, and I'm gonna care about you too if you're a part of us. So that woman gonna know, that brother gonna know, like, yeah, we get checkups, baby. We're gonna take care of ourselves. We're gonna go get some walks in. We're gonna bring some air with some greens, some cut grass. We're gonna live a life to where we can have some happiness. And if you want to, but if you like coming up in your house where your mama was at, your mama and daddy fighting every day, MFing every day, inning every day, get out my house, get out, and that's what you used to, then that's what you want in your house, because it ain't no life without none of that turmoil going on, and this I ain't the brother for you, or I ain't the sister for you. Some people love that strife. Some people gotta have it in their life. Some people feel like if they ain't, then ain't nothing popping, I'm bored. You understand? So that's why it's good to get out there and have those conversations earlier. Be strong about them. Your sisters, I'm just saying, be strong. For the brothers, I mean, same thing. If you know what you want, and if you know what sister.
Would it be wrong ask the woman, is there anything ill with you? That's that vice versa.
Sisters?
Now, when Almighty told them not to deal falsely one to another. Now, if you know you got a disease, now that's the purpose of being educated. If you got an incurable disease, when could you ever be cured of that disease? Now, you wind up getting married, so you might up getting married, and you know you got a disease, incurable disease. Shouldn't you let your mate know?
You should, Dan, but guess how the Christians get around it?
I understand that's something we got to know.
Yeah. Do you
That's
know?
something we got to know to look for someone that's righteous.
Yeah. But Dan, do you know when they get married today, what they say in their vows to make you get beyond that, what he's saying?
In sickness and in health.
That's what they make you say. You know when you get married today, Dan, under the church, they say that you take this person in sickness and in health.
Right?
So, but do you really want? But our people, we made some diligent searches. We made diligent searches.
That's a vow.
Yeah. In the when they do it in the church, they take that person in sickness and in health.
Now, that's the Christian way of getting married. That's not the Israelites' way of marriage.
That's right. That's right.
Israelites' way of making marriage is a covenant. I agree. That's an agreement. See, Christians make a vow out of ignorance.
That's right.
See, we're too intelligent for that. To know you really take the woman to be your lover way to most of them won't do anyway. Because as soon as the other one falls down on their luck, their health, they gone.
Yeah. Fall down on their health, lose their job.
If you take this person to be your lover, for better or worse, that means you got to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. That's how they set it up.
Better or worse, that person gets sick, you still want to marry them.
Yeah. That's why you make you write your own covenant. You write your own things in your covenant. Kadasha, Mordecai, we got 2 comments, then we're going to get the kids, then we're going to get out of here. So, Kadasha, yes.
To Brother Dan's question, should we have open disclosure? Yes, we should, but there is also that word discretion.
Yeah.
You can't just be open disclosure and then, really this person was just trying to, wasn't really serious in the first place. So we have to have discretion with that word open disclosure. If we are really pursuing righteousness in a relationship, yes, there should be open disclosure. And back to what you all were saying, blood tests are a good way of doing things, but we also have to remember we have a higher power. So we may have been dealing with issues in our lives that we were not, that made us ill.
Yeah.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, the diseases.
Yeah.
You might very well have had those issues. But once again, when we turn to righteousness, we have a power, which is Yah, that heals all diseases. So we have to keep that in mind. Praise Yah.
So what I wanted to say is, to the point that Moreh Dan was making, and it's funny because as you get older, hopefully, and I would have to say nowadays, period. I can agree that, if you starting over and, you going into a relationship, number one, that's what the courting process is about. When you first courting that person, it should be open disclosure. You should be, and I hope y'all, now that we talked about it, y'all add these things to y'all list of questions. You can't be afraid to ask. And these are things that if you're going to be bonding yourself to a person for the rest of your life, these are things that, you should probably discuss. And if a person does have something like diabetes or something, at least if they disclose it, you still have that choice on whether you want to. That's just because somebody have diabetes don't mean it's the end of the world, or whatever. But if the love is there and if it's worth it, and y'all, can make it through whatever issues, but as long as that information is disclosed, and like he said about about what do you call it? About being honest. What was the word you used? Being honest about being honest, whatever, and having integrity. You know, those things should be disclosed if it's going to affect the other person. The next thing that I was going to say, even about the blood test now. I mean, nowadays, the way things go, you know, I would think it would be very prudent to, hey, like the brother said, I got mine, where yours at? You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know. You can never just go on somebody's word. So.
Yes. Which religious organization has the purest laws and the most righteous way of living? You can't get past Israel.
They said that the other nations would look upon us and say, surely,
That's right. There you go.
this is a wise to have wise and understanding people.
Why not you not want to marry Israelites?
That's right. That's right. You free. Your lifestyle minimizes
Right.
diseases.
People believe in cleanliness.
That's right. It's the law, the way of Yah is a clean way.
That's right.
All right. Praise the mighty Yah. I hope everyone learned something today. The Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, so go ahead, Mike. You got a mic, boy. Go ahead and give those dates again.
Shalom. Do we got any more of those papers that Elder Dot typed up last week?
That should be on the back.
In the bar, Brother Gira, Micaiah, we got any of those papers that Elder Dot typed up?
Yeah, right up there.
But in any event, we had our new moon come on 3/18, which made the New Year's 3/19, and our Feast of Unleavened Bread will begin on 4/2, correct? Have the leavening out by 4/1 because that morning it has to be out. So 4/2 is the day.
4/2, the morning of 4/2.
Morning of
Morning of, everybody got that? That's 2 weeks away. That's next MON day. So next SUN day or SUN night. Go ahead.
And for anybody who don't have a paper, since we didn't know, we got some papers back here. Since we didn't know whether it was going to be fall, whether the new moon was going to be falling on 3/18 or 3/19, we got the dates here for both of those days. But we just know it's 3/18. It's the top row.
Hallelujah. All right. One thing before we go, I want to ask you all. I want to see if you all. All right, so somebody said something earlier. They said we are a class that makes sure that, this is right after lunch, they said we make sure that we are fed and we have shelter. And they slipped something else in there, which I had to question, which now I need to consider. They said that we have clothing. So yes, we have a place where we can come and worship under shelter, and we have clean food. But when he mentioned that clothing, it was something I meant to see if we wanted to do as a class. So, y'all know what the law says about us and our apparel. It says that what? All of our garments should be what? 100%. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. My sister one time, she must have took about 4 garbage bags of good quality stuff over to them folks at Goodwill. All 100%. I wash my clothes in cheer to keep the color. So I make sure that their stuff stayed nice. And so when it's just I figured that, like, wait a minute, I know that it still look good. I took care of it. It's quality. I hate to see it go out here for them. And for us as a people who have to wear 100% garment, and I know that Yah has blessed many, 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 many of us to where we probably got closets full of stuff that we never wore or stuff that we barely wear. Which we may be able to, so this is all going into us possibly, and let's just think about it, having our own consignment shop. And I say that to say only because we have children and a bunch of children, and I mean children only big for that long, but 100% from the khakis, the school clothes, to I don't necessarily say shirts that's cheap, but I'm just thinking, and I don't know, this is just my thought. And I just want people to think about it only because when it comes to 100% garments, I don't know if it's difficult for some of us. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I figured that if we had a consignment shop that had what you call gently or lightly used clothing, $5 to $10 that we buy and sell among ourselves, I think that would be a great service to us. Because some people don't wear, some of us don't know we should wear 100% garments, but still go and just snatch whatever is on that rack and don't care to look at that collar. So just a thought. I don't know comments or questions, but I just thought, go ahead, Nathan. But I just thought about that, and I didn't know if that was something that people, because like I say, I get rid of stuff, and I know how I take care of my stuff. Okay, and I'm just saying that I don't buy cheap clothes and I don't use cheap laundry detergent. And when I feel that it can be given away, I hate taking it out to some people who I know they're gonna come right out of Evendale and Glendale and go buy all that stuff. Yes, Nathan, go ahead.
Praise y'all. I just want to say something real quick. You mentioned, you talked a little bit about relationships.
Yes, sir.
That is something that I'm hearing about, lately. Do we really know how to treat one another and things of that nature? I think that just need to be elaborated on. At one time, I don't even know if it should be even during class. It should probably be another time where we can just talk to one another. I'm hearing, that we just don't know how to treat one another sometimes. Some people don't. And some people just need to learn how to better treat one another. I always say how to better treat one another when it comes to relationships and things like that. I'm not talking about in the class, cordially and things like that. I'm talking about in relationships and things like that. Because you hear certain things, so we just, I don't know. Sometimes I think the brothers need to talk to the sisters need to talk to the brothers, and just as a whole.
So then here's what we can do.
And kind of do that because
here's something we can do.
I just want to throw that out there.
No, that's good, because here's something. We have a conference coming up here, and we know that we're still developing topics. So I know that may be something that may be an option for an agenda. But even if it's not, if we're talking about among all Israel, even if it's not, we can definitely make that a topic among our topics here. Because one thing we did with the Proverbs, one of those Proverbs, matter of fact, I was going over Proverbs of my class today. Originally, when I came in this morning, I was going Proverbs 18, verses 7 and 8, talking about all the things and all the troubles your mouth bring upon you. And how, so therefore, that right there would probably be a good gateway. So let's talk about that. We can make it a class here. Maybe we can see if we can open it up. But the way you talk to one another is, believe it or not, that's the first step in any relationship, is your verbal commands.
All right, I'm back. So I just want to give praise to Almighty for this week of keeping me and my children safe, keeping all y'all safe to see y'all beautiful places today. And I want to give a praise report that my baby has straight A's this quarter.
Hallelujah!
So praise y'all for that.
Straight A's.
That's it.
Money bags. All right. Praise y'all. Always reward our little ones when they do good in school. All right. Any comments from anyone else before we adjourn our class? Praise the mighty Yah. All right, let us all stand and face the east. We want to thank you all for spending your Shabbat with us today, with the brothers and sisters here at the House of Israel, 1664 California Avenue. We ask that the Almighty Yah bless each and every one of you this week with strength, with courage, but most of all, with the ability to keep righteousness. Shema, Israel, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Akkad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one. May Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. May the mighty Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And may the name of Yahweh rest upon each and every one of us. Hallelujah! 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 Praise the mighty Yah, for Yah is righteous all the time.